You're listening to the Go Lightly Martial Hour on freedomtalkradio.net. freedomtalkradio.net.
Hello.
Hello, well, good morning, and hey, Hitler! Oh. Sorry, I get that way sometimes. The swastika means all levels of society
United.
Yeah.
This
love.
As it's the most ancient symbol of the United Aryan race, as Adam keeps saying. But Hitler in particular, because I watched a video this morning that Joel had posted, he particularly talks about it being the symbol of the Reich that unites specifically all levels of society. Prior to that, of course, as this is what the Jews do, they separate everybody into their levels.
Yes, that's right.
And he talks specifically about everybody contributing, not a welfare state where the rich are being asked to give anything to the poor, but asking every individual at whatever level they are to contribute, because there is always somebody in a situation worse off than everybody. So it's a leveling, yes. And that was the symbol. It was all about the unification of German society right across the board, and of course that's what they hated. They cannot, and that's been the smashing of Germany and the smashing of every other nation, and why we have this globalist, which is Jew world order, push to smash the sovereignty and the unification of the individual nations. And so they call them states rather than nations or countries. They all become a state member of the United Nations, etc., so that the United Nation it becomes the whole in the mind, and each of the members is a state, and why they cannot have any nation of peoples rising up unified.
That's right.
Against them.
That's right.
Anyway, that's we're going to just give a bit of an update about Gina, who was so desperate on Tuesday, 11/11. Yesterday she moved into a place that was provided for her. Don't know how. She said 16 hours ago that she's writing an update to tell of the miraculous events that led to her moving into what she calls her miracle forever home. Seems like a place that, well, it's hers. She doesn't have to move out of it. Her cats are with her. It's in the country. It looks great. And for Gina, Yah has recorded a song. So we'll play it now, even though we haven't got Gina's update. We'll bring that tomorrow. But Yah recorded this for Gina, because being concerned for her welfare, of course, as we are for all of you, and glad to hear of her miraculous provision. Here it goes. It's for Gina, sung by Yah. I'll have to mute our mic. We can't hear it anyway. But here we go.
Gina, Gina, I kissed you once and then I felt so wonderful, so very wonderful. let's do it over again. Gina, Gina, I can't remember when I ever felt a kiss that made me feel like this. Let's do it over again. Look at you, oh, look at you. So warm, so sweet, so shy. Look at me, oh, look at me. I can't believe that I'm such a lucky guy to have Gina. Gina, oh, for my very own. It's much too wonderful, so very wonderful, to know that Gina is mine alone. Oh, look at you, oh, look at you. So warm, so sweet, so shy. Look at me, oh, look at me. I can't believe that I'm such a lucky guy to have Gina. Gina, oh, for my very own. It's much too wonderful, so very wonderful, to know that Gina is mine. Gina is mine alone.
The Go Lightly Martial Hour on freedomtalkradio.net.
Need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress, the hate of men who will pass and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people, and so long as men die, liberty will never perish.
Charlie Chaplin.
Absolutely brilliant.
Mm.
Of an original speech of Hitler.
Yes. Yes, we listened to it a couple of weeks ago. All right, we're back on air. And now, you were measuring this morning.
You're going to read the...
what Gina... Yes, okay. What Gina said yesterday... is that... let me see what's in the personal message.
When I heard of her plight, I was deeply concerned for some time. I thought, right, angels, get onto it.
Yes. Well, she said yesterday, status update forthcoming, you will need to fasten your seatbelt tightly for this one. And she uploaded 52 photographs of this log cabin out in the country that she calls her miracle forever home. I can barely contain my excitement. She says, you're all going to shit your pants when you hear my latest status. So we're still waiting on that. That's her last post was 19 hours ago. So we are waiting for the excitement of how it was that Gina has moved into her miracle forever log cabin with her cats. And a good friend of hers, Wayne, was with her to help her do that. Yep. Okay, so looking forward to that from Gina. In the meantime, You've been measuring in your mind all night.
Yes, I have. The one program I had that we came by in a miraculous way while we were in Fiji. And it is a Magellan product. Magellan is the leaders in software for GPS, and it's 100% accurate. I've checked it many times and compared it to Google Earth, and Google Earth is how I've exposed Google Earth as being a complete fraud, because each time I have done something that is memorable, I do the comparison, upload it with the measurements of Google Earth, and Google Earth is out tremendously. It's all right for a very short distance, like from down the street. But when you start to get into the hundreds of kilometres or miles, it is out substantially, and that is very important when you're measuring and you want to know accuracy. So what Google Earth does do, it gives you the longitude and latitude of any given place, and then you transplant that, if you like, onto the Magellan software. However, this program we got in a miraculous way. It gives you the area within. Now, you can buy a GPS, which I've got one outside, in fact, that you put in the coordinates. For example, when I walked around the street, 4 streets of Nell Street, where my house was, the distance was 888 minutes, and it gives you an area, meters, and then it gives you the area within. So that GPS will do that. So this particular program is sort of advanced on the normal distance or street programs, which I've had for quite a few years now. And the reason I don't alter them or change to a newer is who knows whether they've been bought out by the Jews or not, and they're going to change that. I don't know, so I would assume that they would as soon as they found out I was using it. So what I did this morning while I was asleep, then I got up to confirm it. I take the hospital location, maternity ward where I was born, and then I'll give you an example of that. I'll go to the hospital itself, and I'll tell you what the coordinates are, and then what I did in relationship to that. So we start off with 33, 52, 970 south by 151, 12, 948. So this is degrees, minutes, seconds. So I then changed the south location to a north location by the same longitude. So that would become, instead of south, 33, 52, 970, it would become north, 33, 52, 970, and keeping the east longitude, so therefore you've got a line straight up to the same latitude in the northern hemisphere. So then I went to longitude, and as I'm in the east longitude where the birthplace occurred, I then changed that to the west longitude, so that gives you a distance across. It then gives you 3 points. You can then do another one straight down to the same latitude as the hospital, and then it's back to the hospital itself, so it gives you a square or a cube. And it'll give you the area within, it'll give you the diagonal of it, it'll give you the area in miles, nautical miles and kilometres, it'll give you a length for each side and diagonals. And what it revealed was that the earth is a prison, that all inhabitants are in Gehenna or Gehenna, hell.
Gehenna.
The place of the dead, which of course you are dead from the perspective where you lived before. So you're now in the next life, which in relationship to what I told you at the time of 33 AD, that Gehenna is the place you'll be going to, hell. So this is hell, you're in it. Now, we can know that it's hell because of what the Jews have done to you. Look up chemtrails. Look at your water, fluoride. Look at your food. Everything in it's got soy in it. And every other chemical under the sun. Look at your bread. Prince Charles opened his big mouth years ago out of control of the world
70s.
population by putting birth control in the bread.
Yes.
Right. And on it goes. So there's not a thing you can buy, whether it's hairspray, underarm deodorant, which I don't use personally. However, all the good things you don't have. For example, you don't have the knowledge that colloidal silver will kill most diseases, or calcium hypochlorite, which is available in the nearest pill store, and it kills all diseases. In either, if you've got a baby that's ill, you put it in the bathtub. You can't get the baby to drink it because it tastes like crap, but it'll go in through the skin. Matter of fact, that was one way I was treating the AIDS victims when I was first doing it in Melbourne Street in Melbourne. That's where my nephew was shot dead, because he was the owner of it and financing it, because I didn't have the money. So they shot him dead. The idea was to have colloidal silver or calcium hypochlorite and you sit in it, and as warm as you can bear. So any virus, the heat is enough to kill it, but certainly the calcium hypochlorite would go through your skin, and within a very short period of time. It's the same as going into your stomach and going through the blood barrier. It's going through the blood barrier through your skin directly into your legs and lower torso. So if you want to treat your baby that's got some incurable disease, that's how you do it, with calcium hypochlorite. And I would also go to colloidal silver, and I'd also ozonate the water, which is eBay cheap, $100 you get an ozonator. So all those things I would do. However, this is what God does for you. It tells you how to do it. And that is exactly what it's saying in the area of my birthplace, cubed. It's saying you're in hell, that I've come here to make commandments to rule. But to rule is not to just slip into the job. You've got to defeat the enemy and then rule. That's
prevail.
You've got to prevail against the enemy. And I've already done that. It's just a matter of waking up. So what is going to happen is that the world will change, and the good in it will start to notice the good happening. The evil in it will also start to notice what's happening. But it's a dual world situation.
You explain this as the wheels within wheels.
It's wheels within wheels of Ezekiel. So it's realm within realm, is what it means. So it's simultaneous. Now, that's happened to me on several occasions as an eyewitness, when I have been in one realm and then taken to another realm where time ticks on at the same rate, and then to be back where I was taken from, as in the schoolyard that I was at as a baby boy. And I was incidentally 2424 days old, which is entirely expected, because the 2424 number is Jesus in the Greek concordance. So a lot of these things that I'm talking about, moving from realm to realm, can occur to a person. For example, a near-death experience. So many people have had gone through a near-death experience, and most often, if you're good people, you go to a realm where you see your Jesus, whatever that figure might be, because it's in a sense it's being revealed to you in the way you think. If you were a Hindi and you have a near-death experience, you'd also see a Jesus figure, because that's part of the Hindu tradition, that Yahweh in the flesh came to the earth, and that's a prophecy 4,500 years ago, that Yahweh, slight different pronunciation, would come to the earth and they named it as Jesus Christ, to be crucified. All that is in your Bible of what happened to me at the cross is exactly what was predicted 4,500 years ago. Right? Now, having said that, the Hindu religion has been under attack ever since. Right? That's where Buddhism comes into it, some stupid fat piece of crap that these idiots worship because he sat under a tree or something. I haven't even looked into Buddhism either.
No, it was Raj, the Hindu holy man, who told us that Buddhism is an anathema to the holiness of true Hinduism.
Yeah, that's right. So anyhow, that's what happened last night while I was asleep. And I thought, of course. So I just got up and confirmed it. And that's what I do. I don't do it the other way around. I don't go and sort of, I go and do this twice until I get it. I don't do it that way. I wait for my soul to prompt me to do something. And after all, if you allow it, your soul is the prompting of you. That is what consciousness is. That is what the conscience is. You know, that is what love is. It comes from the soul. It doesn't come from the flesh. So when your flesh dies, the soul continues. So your love continues. So if you are a loving person, that's what you will receive as your reward, and be brought back to the earth into another loving relationship. That was up until now. The evil, they go through a form of hell and then come back again into another body where the demons are waiting for them, or they've been purified in hell. Oh shit, I'm not going to do this again. And when they're born again, literally through the womb, they are confronted with the same families, usually, and also the demons that were cast out by death is waiting for them.
And so their task is to overcome, prevail against, resist.
Prevail against the same demons that consumed you before. But like Mary Magdalene, she wasn't that bad back in the time of 33 AD, but you should see today. Evil has. Right? She even sends me emails not to talk about it, believe it or not. I'll send her a for example, I sent one recently. I said, you ripped off half of my inheritance, you ripped off my car, you ripped off the house I built, you ripped off all the money I gave you for, I was given 6,000, 8,000 sometimes a month, which you gambled a lot, smoked and drank, whatever, right? Was communicating with lovers from all over the world in her mind, and while I'm sitting there doing these holy things, and I was only there for the 2 grandchildren to be born. That's what I was there for, through monstrous circumstances. I mean, you've got no idea of the mother of these 2 children, what a monster she is. Right? But she puts on a good face. Right? But that's how people are. You know, Eileen was, the first wife was everyone loved her. She was unreal. Right? Just float around and be happy and smiling to everybody and greeting them and all that. And she's the greatest monster of all time. Right? And he did it for her own gratification, to show that she could lie continually get away with it. That's how she was. So getting back to what we're talking about, the reality is that the earth that you're in now is hell. Now, put your hand up if anyone can tell me any reason why it isn't. Right? Send me an email, I'd like to know. I guarantee if I got an email, I'll be coming from a Jew and a Rothschild. Yeah, so that's what I do. It's done inwardly as opposed to searching the internet trying to find something. I don't do that. As I say, I've said to you many times that I don't even read the Bible. But I know what the codes are. Because it's obvious. Yeah, so, comment, my dear.
Bloody marvellous.
It is a bit.
Alright, well, just looking up the word prevail too, is to be strong or well. Valio seems to be from the same root as the English well, the primary. Prevailing is gaining advantage, superiority or victory, having effect, persuading, succeeding, predominant, having more influence, prevalent. That's what it is, to prevail all this time.
That's why I've always said, give it your best shot, Satan. Satan in the word of Lucifer. Satan actually means an adversary in the Hebrew idea of speech. So it's not a good word to use when it's thought of as being satanic, a satanic cult. We now know a satanic cult is Lucifer driven. Right? But the word actually means to oppose.
To oppose, yes.
Right? From the modern idea, it is to be Lucifer driven. Now, I watched an interesting movie last night. It was a 1938 Sherlock Holmes, quite a long movie, and it was his arch enemy Moriarty and how he ends up killing him. And throughout the story, it's set in a pub, and the pub members are all members of a Freeman Society. Right, they didn't say the word Freemason then. But they all have the sacred oaths, and if anyone steps out of line, they'll kill them. This is what the story all evolved into. And so it was infiltrated by this good guy, and eventually it's all exposed, and how these men all get rounded up. Some are hung, and some are in prison for life. The least sentence was prison for life. Yeah, so it's Sherlock Holmes talking about a Freemasons and their cult.
And of course, who is the head of all Freemasonry? Elizabeth?
Well, Elizabeth is, the male is
Charles.
Michael of Kent.
Oh, right.
Because he was Charles who said he didn't want it. So the Michael,
right,
Duke of Kent, I think it is, who is one of the same family of George I that had descended from Hanover. So it's interesting how, and he's a man which, if you look it up and see him, you can hardly walk.
Yes, I'm looking at
He's
him now.
painfully thin.
Oh.
Michael, Duke of Kent, I think it is.
No, he's because it's Prince Edward is the Duke of. This is odd.
Well,
Prince
mind you, you can also, I've mentioned it a long time ago on YouTube, so I may have changed it.
No, well, wait on. Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, born October the 9th, 1935. No, I'm reading from...
He's the head of the Freemasonry.
No.
We'll put in head of
I'll put
Freemasonry.
on Michael. Michael of Kent. Freemasonry.
Gloria's honour.
Prince Michael of Kent. Michael George Charles Franklin, born July the 4th, 1942, is a cousin of Queen Elizabeth II, being a grandson of King George V and Queen Mary. Prince Michael occasionally carries out royal duty, blah, blah, blah.
We're saying here that
Masonic.
Michael, an active Freemason, he is the Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Master Masons.
Right. Here we go. On the 30th of June 1978, Prince Michael was married at a civil ceremony at the Rathaus, Vienna, Austria, to Baroness Marie Christine von Reibnitz, the only child of the Silesian nobleman Baron Gunther Hubertus von Reibnitz and of his Hungarian-born wife Maria Anna Carolina Franziska Walpurga Bernadette. At the time of the marriage, the Baroness was not only a Roman Catholic, but also a divorcee. She had previously been married to the banker Thomas Trowbridge. They separated in 1973, divorced in 1977, and had their marriage annulled by the Roman Catholic Church a year later, 2 months before her marriage to Prince Michael. Under the terms of the Act of Settlement 1701, Prince Michael forfeited his place in the line of succession to the throne through his marriage to a Roman Catholic. However, his wife remains Her Royal Highness Prince. Now, where's the Masonic?
Well, the Grand Master is what you're looking for. And I just read it to you just then, the Grand Master. Okay.
Yes, he is an active Freemason. He is the Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Master Masons and Provincial Grand Master of the Provincial Grand Lodge of Middlesex.
That's him. Now, that can change at any time.
Mm.
But he took it from the original document I read.
Yeah.
He took it because of Charles didn't want the job. Right. It
Right.
couldn't have been Prince Philip because Prince Philip was not that line. It's got
No.
to be of the same lineage of the House of Windsor or the Queen, right? By the German side, Hanover, right? George the III. So they've infiltrated into that as well. See? That's the whole point. Now, there's all sorts of things you can read about Freemasonry on the internet. Let's see here. Freemasonry. Well, I'll just read some of the titles. Masonic symbols rather. Freemason, Illuminati, right? Masonic emblems, Masonic symbols and the meanings. Freemason head. Michael Kent, Freemasonry. There he is, right? Time, Maine, USA. United Nations, Catholic Nations, United Nations. That's going into a bit of a gaga land there. So, indeed it is him. And as I said, if you look up some of the YouTubes on Freemasonry and the Grand Lodges and what they do, you'll see Michael Kent. And they come in like a swarm of locusts, right? Mm-hmm. When they go into a church or something like that, they're just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds swarm in. And the Duke of Kent leads it. And he can hardly walk. He's such a spindly, ill-looking character. Right? He's sort of like he's going to fall over any tick.
Here is Judaism, Zionism and Freemasonry. And a quote from the Protocols of Zion. Gentile Masonry blindly serves as a screen for us and our objects. But the plan of action of our force, even its very abiding place, remains for the whole people and an unknown mystery. And then there's another quote from 1869. Masonry, that immense association, the rare initiated of which, that is to say, the real chiefs of which, whom we must be careful not to confound with the nominal chiefs, live in a strict and intricate alliance with the militant members of Judaism, princes and imitators of the high cabal, for that elite of the order, those real chiefs whom so few of the initiated know, or whom they only know for the most part under a nom de guerre, are employed in the profitable and secret dependence of the Kabbalistic Israelites. And this phenomenon is accomplished thanks to the habits of rigorous discretion to which they subject themselves by oaths and terrible menaces. Thanks also to the majority of Jewish members, which the mysterious constitution of Masonry seats in its sovereign council. That was a quote by Gauguinot de Mousseau in Le Juif, Le Judaisme, yeah, all right, et la Judaisation des Pupils Chrétiens, Paris, 1869. All right. The Jewish Guardian admitted openly on the 12th of April 1922, Freemasonry is born out of Israel. The following could be read in the French Masonic magazine, Le Symbolisme, July 1928. The most important duty of Freemasonry must be to glorify the Jews, which has preserved the unchanged divine standard of wisdom. The high-ranking Freemason, Dr. Rudolf Klein, stated, "Our rite is Jewish from beginning to end." The public should conclude from this that we have actual connections with Jewry. It was 1928.
I hope Donnie Gilson's listening to this.
A speech at the B'nai B'rith Convention in Paris, published shortly afterwards in the Catholic Gazette of London in February 1936, and Paris a little later, stated, "We have founded many secret associations which all work for our purpose, under our orders and our direction. We have made it an honour, a great honour for the Gentiles to join us in our organisations, which are, thanks to our gold, flourishing now more than ever. Yet it remains our secret that those Gentiles who betray their own and most precious interests by joining us in our plot should never know that those associations are of our creation and that they serve our purpose." Another quote, "Freemasonry is a Jewish establishment whose history, grades, official appointments, passwords and explanations are Jewish from beginning to end." That is Rabbi Isaac Wise. The Jewish Tribune newspaper in 1927, in an editorial, stated, "Freemasonry is based on Judaism. Eliminate the teachings of Judaism from the Masonic ritual, and what is left? Question mark. Nothing." One last quote, Ray Novosel, writing from Australia in 2004, states, quote, "Zionist world leaders, men in influential positions with the various Masonic organisations everywhere, have worked hand in glove for a universal world revolution, which will bring in the one world church and one world government. Many Masonic lodges are exclusively Jewish, as are the controlling B'nai B'rith lodges, the mother of the infamous and very dangerous Anti-Defamation League," the ADL, and that's Abe Foxman, who you tweeted a lot recently, threatening, and then suddenly all these things are being passed through the government legislature bodies about even speaking against the Jews is illegal. So what have we got here? We've got the King James Bible with the Freemason symbol of the compass and square. Do we have the other one there? That
It's upstairs, isn't it?
is it? I don't know. It's around somewhere. But the other one is exactly the same translation. However, it doesn't have the symbol on the front. It just says Holy Bible, and that's the one you'll find in all of the other Bible. That's the one you'll find in all of the Judeo-Christian pulpits preaching around the planet, who defend with their lives. They deny the Christ, who is the Word of God. That's what Jesus came as, the Word of God manifest. Here it is, Holy Bible. Let's see here, what is it?
The King James Version.
This is the King James Version. It's been, a dog did that, so appropriate, right? So it's exactly the same translation as this, which has a foreword, the first authentic pictures of King Solomon's temple and citadel. Now, of course, Solomon was as evil as the day is long. He was born out of an adulterous relationship and murder of his mother's husband. Okay, the pictures showing the gorgeous reality of King Solomon's temple Now, the temple was built by demons. Included in this Masonic edition of the Holy Bible are the result of many years of research, and the architectural plans from which were made are valued at more than $200,000. They represent the first and only accurate interpretation of the scriptural description of that famous edifice of Masonic symbolism. The treatise on the Bible and King Solomon's temple in masonry, which accompanies the pictures, is a distillation of the best work of 2 centuries of Masonic writers. So I think it totals 84 pages with a lot of pictures. The layout of Solomon's temple. The floor. It reminds me of a painting I did in the lead up to finding you. The restoration of King Solomon's temple. This is what they're aiming for. Temple from the northeast corner, etc., etc. Now, the Holy Bible, containing the Old and New Testaments, translated out of the original tongues, and with the former translations diligently compared and revised. There, where I'm looking for the admonition for this to be read throughout all.
In the first few pages, I think. Of after the 80 of Solomon.
Right. According to the authorised, together with illuminated frontispiece, helps the Masonic student, 1924, copyright.
Now I'm just looking up on the internet Solomon's demons. It's got types of demons, demon names, demon drawings, angels and demons, demon art, summon demons, demon name directory, angels and demon movie. Now these people would summons the demon by name.
Yes.
Now, this all came down from an inscription that was found on a rock of the demon's symbols that was pre-flood revealed by Ham.
Ham. He was the one that reinstituted the witchcraft.
So the flood was to kill off all of the men that were demonized. They're the ones that were very well advanced in science and in practicing all sorts of demonic rituals. They're the ones that invented or used the symbols to conjure demons. So a human being could conjure a demon and the demon would appear to it. And if you were a fly on the wall in the Rothschilds' mansion, when they have watching a Rothschild, every time they walk through from one room to the other, they've got to do some sort of a recantation for the demon. Right? And the demon, if at a meal, a place is always set for Lucifer himself, in case Lucifer appears. So he's got to be set at a table. So if you've got 30 people coming for a dinner, you'll have one place reserved at the head of the table for Lucifer. And they say that Lucifer does appear to them. Now, it doesn't really matter whether you believe it or not, they believe it. That's the whole point. When you're fighting an enemy, you've got to understand what the enemy and how it thinks, and therefore you can outthink it. And that's why I look into the atrocities that these bastards perform, and you'll find that the dates of these atrocities are all lined up with something like 9/11, for example, lined up with the bombing of Dresden. That was 1882, September the 11th. But ironically, the using of 9/11 as an emergency call code is a slap in the face of humanity. Right? Because when a disaster strikes, 9/11 is dialed hundreds and hundreds of times, so they're using an incantation, the 9/11 number. And we have the bombing of the train in Madrid. It was 911 days after 9/11 Twin Towers were brought down. Now, what they don't realise, or maybe they did, that 9/11, of course, is the conception date of myself within, as the Holy Spirit, within Mary, and that was on September the 11th, 3 BC, born on June the 17th, 2 BC. Why was it June 17th? Well, it's 168th day of the year, number one. And also, in this lifetime, if you count 888 days from my birthday, January 11th, 1944, it gives you June the 17th in 1946. So there's the anniversary of the birth of myself as Jesus in 2 BC on that date, June the 17th. However, the conception, of course, was September the 11th, 3 BC, and that's what they're doing.
Now, 11 is a Masonic number. It's the number that they've stolen it. Yeah, exactly. They adopted.
There's no number in creation that is anything to do with more than what I created it to be.
Yes.
They steal.
They steal. It's all counterfeit. Make it their own. But of course, your birthday in this life is 1/11, January the 11th, as your conception date was.
So it
September.
would be 1-1-1-9-4-4. So you got 4 ones, a 9, and a 4 and a 4.
Yeah.
Well, 4 is my name for a start. Right? So if you break it down, what is 19th? Well, 19th verse of chapter of Isaiah.
All about the pyramid.
Right? 1919. 1919-20. So read that. Verse 19 and 20 of chapter 19.
Yes. Now we could go on here.
Go on. Show me that Bible and I'll find out what you're looking for.
Yeah, I thought it was at the front to be read throughout all the lodges in the...
Well, it starts off the Holy Bible, the Great Light in Masonry.
Yes.
Like, hello, the Holy Bible, the Great Light in Masonry. King James was a Freemason, also a Catholic.
Yeah.
He was forced to be a Freemason.
Now Freemasonry, this continues, Freemasonry is the Talmud puppet religion to control the Goyim. In 1861, from a Parisian Jewish periodical, La Vérité Israélite gives us insight into how the Masons and Jews had some similar goals. Quoting, the connections are more intimate than one would imagine. Judaism should maintain a lively and a profound sympathy for Freemasonry in general, and no matter concerning this powerful institution should be a question of indifference to it. For a very long time, owing to the progress in morals and public liberty, Freemasonry has been able to abandon its role of a mysterious secret society, forced by the fear and tyranny of former governments to veil itself in prudent obscurity. Its principles and methods have been known to the public for so long that it cannot be difficult to understand its spirit and aims. But the spirit of Freemasonry is that of Judaism in its most fundamental beliefs. Its ideas are Judaic, its language is Judaic, its very organisation almost is Judaic. Whenever I approach the sanctuary where the Masonic order accomplishes its works, I hear the name of Solomon ringing everywhere and echoes of Israel. Those symbolic columns are the columns of that temple where each day Hiram's workmen received their wages. They enshrine his revered name. The whole Masonic tradition takes me back to that great epoch when the Jewish monarch, fulfilling David's promises, raised up to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, a religious monument worthy of the creator of heaven and earth. It's from the Watchtower and Masons by Fritz Springmeier. And then you have the all-seeing eye, the hexagram, which is the Star of David, etc. Social Zionist youth movement emblem is the Star of David with the inside a wreath looking like the United Nations wreath. Here's the Grand Lodge of the State of Israel to the Masons of Peace, the Honourable Yitzhak Rabin, Prime Minister of Israel, His Majesty King Hussein of Jordan, the Honourable Bill Clinton, President of the United States, with warm fraternal congratulations on the signing of the peace agreement between Israel and Jordan. Signed Ephraim Fuchs, President of the Israel Order of Masons.
Now, I'll just show you how it's been organised. The name Abaddon is the first name in the list of the demons of Solomon. Right? Now, Abaddon is found in Revelation. Its number is G3. Okay, let's talk about the Trinity.
Yes.
And it's Revelation 9:11.
Abaddon.
Abaddon. That's the head of the demons. That's Lucifer. So it goes from Abaddon, Abraxas, Ad-Ramelech, Agar, Aharim, Aim, Haborom, Alasta, Alosis, Andius, Ammon. Now Ammon, this goes back to Ammonites. Amy, Andrus, and so forth. And there's a whole list of them. I don't know how many there is altogether, but it just goes on forever. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Let's see. Looks like there's 53 of them. And that's why there were 53 scholars that translated the King James. Memory.
Yes, led by
King
Francis
James
Bacon. Yeah,
Francis
he's the
Bacon.
fifth. Yeah.
So 53 scholars. Now, they've got drawings as well. You can find us on the internet. Just take any of those names. Well, Abaddon, take it and put in Freemason. And it's got a drawing of all of these different emblems and what they all mean. And they're all grotesque to the extreme. And they're making a very, very detailed availability for these names, because the child can go in and look those things up. It won't find nothing on me, of course.
Now, this is interesting. This led from the website, which is Whale, has always had in-depth information revealing all things. Magical signs of the Jewish Kabbalah, the six-pointed star, Babylonian witchcraft, and the Hollywood perdition of Jerry Seinfeld and Associates. It says, in the decades of the 70s, 80s and 90s, the hottest spiritual trend was the New Age movement. As we move forward through the first decade of the 21st century, the latest cure-all spiritual phenomenon seems to be the Jewish Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is not new, of course. It's been around for centuries. The Kabbalah is actually ancient magic. It is an exotic blend of devilish, sometimes fanciful, New Age mystical practices, topped by a philosophical bent of Jewish supremacism. Orthodox Judaism, or Phariseeism, is rife with Kabbalism, and Jewish rabbis are the Kabbalah's greatest promoters, celebrities, and Kabbalah. The recent explosion in mainstream interest in Kabbalism is boosted by the many big-name celebrities who have recently been hawking Kabbalism as the miraculous answer to all of man's problems. And an undercover BBC reporter who infiltrated a London Kabbalah group witnessed singer Madonna and Guy Ritchie chanting mystic spells to cleanse Chernobyl, the site in Ukraine of a nuclear plant disaster in 1986. Other news accounts link entrepreneurs Paris Hilton, Britney Spears, Roseanne Barr, Demi Moore, Shirley MacLaine, Ashton Kutcher, Sandra Bernhard, Barbara Streisand, Diane Keaton, Gwyneth Paltrow, Goldie Hawn, Elizabeth Taylor, Michael Jackson, Mick Jagger, Uri Geller, Diane Ladd, Laura Dern, and a legion of other stars, the practice of Kabbalah. Look closely when you see any of these people on TV or pictured in magazines, and you'll often see the characteristic red string wristband they wear. Lately, former President Bill Clinton's been spotted wearing it. He's a Kabbalist, and so has Florida's politician Katherine Harris, who became a famous household icon as Florida's Republican Secretary of State during the bizarre 2000 election snafu. Republican bigwig and former House Speaker Newt Gingrich is reported to be a Kabbalah advocate, and some say conservative talk show host Rush Limbaugh and his rabbi are also into the Kabbalah. Among the most notorious of Kabbalists are the TV comedy stars of the once #1 rated The Jerry Seinfeld Show. The producer of The Seinfeld Show was Larry David, a Jew. All 4 of the cast were Jews. And Kabbalistic hand signs, occult language and magic rituals were covertly planted in many episodes. Republican Party spokesman and former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, shown here wearing his Judaism skullcap, is into New Age Kabbalistic magic and is a paid spokesman for Zionist interests. Jason Alexander, who played the lovable loser George Costanza on the show, posed for TV Guide magazine in a blatantly Kabbalistic body pose, plus his left and right hands gave the El Diablo horned devil sign in as above so below gesture, and that's what Donnie was doing in his
That's right.
in his photograph on his Facebook page. Michael Richards, who portrayed the Klopsy Kramer in Seinfeld, also seems to relish giving Kabbalistic and Masonic hand signs and gestures. Richard was pictured on the front cover of the Scottish Rite Journal, and inside the publication he told of how pleased he is to be a Freemason. Star Trek's Leonard Nimoy, constantly cited in Kabbalistic poses, blah blah blah. Its display is part and parcel of Jewish religion, so every time viewers observed Mr. Spock giving the sign, they were unknowingly being made a participant in a Kabbalistic occult ritual. Then it goes into Sodom, Egypt, and 21st century Judaism. Oh, here we go. In one of the most controversial of all the many video documentaries I have produced, Cauldron of Abaddon, which is what you were just talking about, I stated, from Jerusalem and Israel flow a torrent of satanic evil and mischief endangering the whole world. 5 Zionist Jews and their cohorts in the Christian Zionist community were angered over what I said, but they had no response to the mountain of facts presented in the video proving my point. It is undeniable that God himself in Revelation 11:8 declares that in the last days, just prior to Christ's return, one of the most wicked places on earth will be Jerusalem and Israel. In Revelation, God calls Jerusalem Sodom and Egypt. Hello? Has not the Christ, Brian Leonard Golightly Marshall, been now for all the time he can get word out there through internet, etc., been alerting the world? This that I'm reading is now several years old, and the dude doesn't know that the Christ is back, and 10 to 1 he would reject anyway.
Absolutely rejected.
However, So it occurred to me that the other day on the show, Donnie in his he came out and he said, "As above, so below." Isn't that right, Brian?
That's right.
So I think you should all bombard Donnie Gilson and tell him he's a fuckwit, because he certainly is. I'll put the link in for all of this information in the description box.
What you all could do, I'm just looking at, I'll turn the camera on the internet when I'm looking at the moment. And what it's showing here is the Star of David at the top. And I found this by Solomon's Demons. Search Solomon's Demons images. So this is the grotesqueness of their drawings, which is, I feel sickened by it, that this is what a human being is supposed to be dominated by worldwide. So this is Solomon. Okay. This is all the demons again. The drawings are such profoundly odd, evil is the only word, it's sickening. They've always got claws, growling faces, etc. So you can all look them up yourselves. Quite extraordinary, to say the least. I thought one time I might do a doco on them, but it is so obscene that I don't want to be part in exposing you to them.
Yeah, there's plenty of info out there. People have made it their life's work to expose the evil of all this.
So you can say that the 53 demons that translated the Freemason Bible are what it's referring to.
Yes.
Now, is it historically a fact? You betcha it is. There's no doubt about it.
All right, we're out of time, Ben.
Out of time, man.
Yep, out of time.
Okay.
So I'll pull the plug. We'll go out with the For Gina once more. This time we'll hear it because we'll pull the plug.
Okay.
All right, so later, Gators, we'll be back with show 173 tomorrow, being Sunday in Australia.
Gina, Gina, I kissed you once and then I felt so wonderful. Gina, Gina, I kissed you once and then I felt so wonderful, so very wonderful. Let's do it over again. Gina, Gina, I can't remember when I ever felt a kiss that made me feel like this. Let's do it over again. Look at you, oh look at you, so warm, so sweet, so shy. Look at me, oh look at me, I can't believe that I'm such a lucky guy to have Gina. Gina, oh for my very own. It's much too wonderful, so very wonderful, to know that Gina is mine alone. Oh, look at you, oh, look at you, so warm, so sweet, so shy. Look at me, oh, look at me, I can't believe that I'm such a lucky guy to have Gina. Gina, oh, for my very own. It's much too wonderful, so very wonderful, to know that Gina is mine. Gina is mine alone.
The Go Lightly Martial Hour, freedomtalkradio.net.